You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
Good morning and welcome to another Betoota Advocate News Bulletin. My name is Errol Parker. It is Friday the 31st of January and we're broadcasting live from the Budgie Smuggler booth. Clancy Overell is off sick. He slept through his alarm. He was on the piss last night. No one knows where he is. And joining me here, as always, the ever reliable Richard Moorcroft. Is it this week? Or maybe this week we'll go for something like the Kenny Sutcliffe. Wendell Hussey, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Errol, and very happy to go with Kenny Sutcliffe.
What's making headlines this week, Wendell?
Well, Errol, the rapidly spreading coronavirus has certainly been the story of the week, which I believe Bridget McKenzie is very relieved about. Now, there have been some breakthroughs on the epidemic front, with Southern Californian street racer Dominic Toretto identified as patient zero for coronavirus.
It's not known when the man who was made famous by the Fast and Furious movies was last in China, but it's alleged it might have something to do with a recent high-tech robbery that saw a 20-ton bank vault dragged for 10 kilometres through the streets of inner-city Wuhan behind several Ford GT40s.
And they haven't quite figured out what this will mean for developing a vaccine for the virus, but researchers have said that the bacterial infection hasn't yet killed Toretto because of his notably high pain threshold and an immune system that has seen him survive multiple high-speed car and plane accidents. And there were a lot of comments on this one, Errol, unsurprisingly, mostly from men around town and the country, with very specific references. Like one from Ben Wingrove, who said, "This is the risk you run when you overnight parts from Japan."
Whatever that means, Wendell. And back on home soil now, things were at panic stations across the country, including the Northern Rivers of New South Wales, in which we broke the exclusive story about a Byron mum worried this coronavirus might result in yet another deadly vaccine.
She was all over the local information exchange page, hitting out at Big Pharma and the government, who she suspects has manufactured this virus to poison people with another vaccine.
Yes, Wendell, the angry mother of Aldous and Petunia, I think you pronounce them if it's like the flower, then told us that she just can't believe how the people of this country just roll over and submit.
Yeah, 5G, chemtrails, fluoride in water, the light rail burning path, now this latest vaccine, when will people wake up? She said, and those comments have landed her fringe Gold Coast Titans player boyfriend in a little bit of hot water. There was also a comment from Peter Flannery on this article, brother of Tim, I believe, who said health authorities have been considering renaming the virus to Stone and Wood virus to try and get the message across to the people of the region.
Yes, the iconic beer from up there.
In some news from around town now, and man wearing felt hat named Declan suggests using kombucha as a mixer drink.
Well, this, I think he's a creative from down there in Brunswick in the People's Republic of Melbourne. Decided to throw on his hat and also throw his kombucha in the ring. It's believed that he's since been harassing his friends about kimchi and goji berries ever since. Two things, Wendell, that I'm not really too familiar with. Are you familiar with these things?
I ate a lot of goji berries once and it fucked me up big time. It's not a good way to love your gut, like Remedy kombucha is.
Right. What's next, Wendell?
Some other news from around town. This should be higher, explains music fan who didn't vote in the Hottest 100.
This type of thing seems to happen a lot, Wendell. But this particular story was about a woman who still thinks that Matt and Alex are on The Breakfast Show, and she was disappointed that Bad Guy came first, obviously by Billie Eilish. From all reports in the story, she was quite unhappy that people voted for that song, which I don't mind. It's a good bop, if that's what they say these days.
Makes you feel a bit silly.
I'm not as old as you think I am.
Young at heart. And another story from around town over the course of the weekend was crafty local boyfriend discovers way to faithfully promise he won't have another beer.
Yes, not sure how he got away with this, but it's a really clever little life hack. He managed to promise his girlfriend that he would pull the pin and not have another beer at the pub with the boys. He came back with a little Canadian club and a big old grin, which got him out of trouble on a technicality. Well, if he was going out with my lovely wife, that wouldn't fly.
I don't think he was seeing the brighter side the next morning, which she did, in fact, predict at the time when he tried to pull the little trick. Moving on to sports news now, and Catalan Dragons controversially signed Margaret Court on lucrative 2-year deal.
Surprise, surprise, Wendell. The Catalan Dragons have controversially signed Margaret Court on a lucrative 2-year deal, proving that the Catalan Dragons will sign absolutely anyone.
This follows the news that they signed former Wallaby and controversial Instagram influencer Israel Folau on a 1-year deal. And despite the fact Margaret Court has never played a game of rugby league, it's reported that she will slot into their back row and is looking at being a hard ball runner who mans up in defence and puts a few big shots on.
I'm looking forward to seeing Big Cordy running it up.
As I think most sports fans around the country are. Anyway, that's all for the Bulletin this week. Thanks for tuning in as always. And once again, thank you to Budgie Smuggler, the home of Australian-made swimwear for the modern Australian man or woman. Head to budgiesmuggler.com.au to get the limited edition Betoota Dugongs Budgie Smugglers today. Until next week, I'm Wendell Hussey.
My name is Errol Parker. Until next week.